This is probably the most customizable and complicated mechanical keyboard that I've ever tried. And that's for a good reason. This keyboard was made with professionals and power users in mind, those who want maximum flexibility, customizability, and ergonomics. And it's actually quite overwhelming, but definitely unique in this ever-growing keyboard market space. I'm talking about the Ultimate Hacking Keyboard 80. Now, the original Ultimate Hacking Keyboard that I featured 6 years ago was pretty decent, and they even made a version 2 of that, which means there's a clear demand for this highly customizable keyboard. So with community feedback in mind, they've decided to come up with an even more customizable and better overall variant, now with dedicated function keys, extra thumb accessible keys, proper OLED display, modern USB-C and tri-mode connectivity, more ergonomic adjustments, and most importantly, true split wireless connectivity. Not to mention the largest battery capacity on any split keyboard. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get into it. As always, honest disclaimer, this video is not paid, but Ultimate Gadget Laboratories sent us a review sample with all available modules and accessories for me to share with you my honest thoughts. But they will not see this video or even my script prior to release. I've actually had this keyboard for quite some time now, and I wanted to make sure that I've used it properly the way it was intended before I share with you my experience. Now, like I said, they've sent me pretty much all the accessories and modules, including 2 sets of USB dongles with adapters, a braided bridge cable, the Riser 80, the recently released walnut palm rests, and all 4 modules, which we'll tackle in detail later. They've even sent me another set of red switches because I'm not a fan of the silent pink switches that came with the keyboard. Now, the Ultimate Hacking Keyboard 80 itself also comes with a bunch of accessories. We have 4 adjustable feet for standard tenting and tilting, a regular bridge cable, a braided USB cable, and a switch and keycap puller. At first look and touch, the UHK 80 looks massive, especially with the integrated palm rest. It still resembles the identity of the original Ultimate Hacking Keyboard, but with a modern twist. I like the detachable palm rest on the UHK 60 though, but more on that later. It looks like both keyboards still uses the same split design. You can even connect them together, as you can tell. Alright, so let's focus on the UHK 80. One of the major changes here is of course the layout. It now features an unorthodox 80% layout with dedicated function rows, arrow keys, some of the nav cluster keys, and a lot more thumb keys. At first, I was like, why are there a ton of redundant keys and key combinations here that make it quite confusing to use? But then, after a bit of research, I learned that this is of course intentional to give users a variety of options to keep their fingers anchored around the home row while having access to pretty much everything, including the detachable modules. And even without the modules, you can still do mouse functions via the mouse layer to really keep your hands glued to the keyboard. And this of course will take a significant amount of learning curve and commitment, especially when it comes to customizing all the keys and combinations based on your preference. The good thing here is that the different layers have their own corresponding LED indicators, making it easier to recognize. Now, the left side weighs about 489.6 grams, while the right side weighs about 679.5 grams, so it is definitely more than a kilo. Compared to the UHK 60 that features a high-profile case design, the UHK 80 now features a floating key design, which makes it look slimmer than it actually is. Another modern upgrade is of course the USB-C ports, which are present on both sides. It still uses the same port for the bridge cable though, which is fine. Another improvement that I've noticed is that the adjustment stands are easily detachable now and don't have to be screwed on, which is very convenient. One of the key features of the UHK 80, or any split keyboard for that matter, is of course ergonomics. With the split layout, you can prop both sides in such a way that your hand and palm are perfectly straight for a more comfortable typing experience. More on this later when we talk about the ergonomic adjustment options. Now, in terms of the keycaps, we have a backlight-friendly double-shot PBT keycap, which is a good choice for durability and longevity of the Legends. Speaking of LEDs, as you can tell, they are plenty bright. As for the switches, we have silent pink switches on this, but it's also available in regular and box-type switches. I'll share with you a sound comparison of the silent pink and box red switches later. And yes, this keyboard is also hot swappable, but with north-facing sockets. The stabilizers are lubed out of the factory, but the overall sound and feel of the keyboard is not that great, to be honest. It looks like it doesn't have any sound dampener or foam inside, so there's that. Now, in terms of connectivity, as I alluded to earlier, the UHK 80 now has tri-mode connectivity, including wired, Bluetooth, and 2.4 GHz using the USB dongle. But what's impressive here is that they were able to make this keyboard completely wireless, including the communication between two sides. So the bridge cable is actually not that necessary anymore, unless you're either looking for the aesthetic appeal of it or you want to charge both sides using just a single cable. If you want to charge both sides faster, you can charge them via USB-C individually. Now, as of the time of making this video, only the right side can communicate with your host device for wired mode. Now, the UHK 80 features the largest battery on any wireless split keyboard, and you can easily check it out by removing the silicone palm rest and plastic cover. The left side has a 3000 mAh battery, while the right side has a massive 5000 mAh battery. And this is probably the perfect time to install the walnut palm rest, which definitely adds a premium look and feel to the keyboard. Alright, so let's talk about the different ergonomic adjustment options, starting with the included flip-out stands. The mounting design has been revamped to make it easier to install and rotate the flip-out stands compared to the old design, which required you to screw the stands. This stand allows us to prop the keyboard at about 5 degrees of tenting, positive and negative tilting. Now, if those angles are not enough for you, you can also get the Riser 80, which will allow you to prop the keyboard at a precise 5-degree increments from 10 to a whopping 60 degrees if you're crazy enough. But yeah, even the installation of the riser takes just a few minutes. And I think this is the reason why they've decided to make the palm rest of the UHK 80 integrated, unlike the detachable palm rest on the UHK 60. So you have a stable palm support regardless of how much angle you prop the keyboard. Imagine tilting it up to 60 degrees without a palm rest. Your hands are just going to hover awkwardly, right? But to be honest, I still rather have the option to remove the palm rest if I want a more compact form factor when laying flat. Now, another key improvement on the UHK 80 is the OLED display, which is way better than the segment LED display on the UHK 60. The new display provides valuable information at a glance, such as connection status, battery level for both sides, caps lock and numlock, current layout, host device, and modifier indicators. Now, for some reason, they decided not to put a physical power switch or even a connection mode switch like most modern keyboards. Instead, they use key combinations for sleep and connection modes, which is kind of a bummer. Alright, let's talk about the detachable modules. Now, this is not new. The detachable modules have been around for about 5 years now, I believe, which they've started developing since the original UHK days. So far, they have 4: the key cluster, trackball, trackpoint, and the touchpad module. The key cluster is the only one that you can use on the left side, while the 3 other modules are for the right side. They attach seamlessly using the same magnetic mounting system with the pogo pin connection. Now, the key cluster features 3 customizable standard keys with 2 buttons and a mini trackball that also doubles as a button. By default, the keys function as backspace, delete, and enter key, giving users optional quicker access to these frequently used keys. The mini trackball, on the other hand, functions as a scroll wheel by default or as arrow keys or a mouse pointer using modifiers. The trackball and trackpoint module serves essentially the same purpose, just different hardware. They both function as a mini mouse with an additional scroll wheel and arrow keys function using modifiers. And lastly, we have the touchpad, which functions as a normal touchpad with left click and 2-finger scrolling and pinch to zoom support. In my real-world experience, while they both offer a nostalgic effect, the trackball and trackpoint are quite difficult to use. They are often jittery and have difficulty performing precise movements, even after adjusting the settings on the software. On the other hand, the touchpad is perfectly usable. It feels like a normal modern touchpad, just significantly smaller. I also appreciate that it supports scrolling and pinch to zoom functions. So yeah, for me, I'll stick with the key cluster and touchpad modules. Now, almost everything about this keyboard is highly customizable via the UHK Agent Software. I'm not going to dive into all the settings, but what's important here is that you can remap pretty much any key to another function with or without a modifier combination or a secondary role. Essentially, you can set multiple functions on a single key. You can also remap a key to activate or toggle a layer for mouse functions, macro recording, and a lot more. And you can do this in different keyboard layouts and different layers. When you connect a module, you can also remap its keys and buttons. The key remapping of this keyboard is absolutely insane. Aside from that, this is where you can fine-tune the performance and functionality of the modules, especially the tracking speed and acceleration. You can even set connection priority. Let's say you want to keep using the 2.4 GHz dongle even if you're connected to wired or paired via Bluetooth. So yeah, if you have the time and patience, you can definitely tailor this keyboard to your workflow and preferences. Alright, before I share with you my final thoughts, here's a sound test for you guys. Now the question is, who is the ultimate hacking keyboard 84? Well, as I alluded to earlier, this is for professionals and power users who want the utmost flexibility and customizability on a keyboard. This is something that you'll have to invest not just your money, but also your time and patience, and basically forget everything you're used to on a traditional keyboard. What I like about this is, of course, its flexibility and customizability, unlike any other. I like the revamped ergonomic options, the modern USB-C and OLED display, the tri-mode connectivity, the detachable modules, large battery capacity, and the true wireless split experience. On the other hand, what I don't like about this is the sound and feel. I wish they had paid a little bit more attention to that and added at least a couple of sound dampening materials inside. I don't even think it has gaskets or anything that might improve the typing feel. I also don't like the performance of the track point and the trackball. It's just hard to do precise movements. And while I understand the reasoning behind the swapping of mod and space key on the left side, it's just hard to get used to, as I typically use my left thumb for space. And that is just one of the pain points of the quite steep learning curve of this keyboard. I also wish that they had maintained the detachable wrist rest for those who prefer a more compact form factor. Other than that, this is definitely one of the most unique mechanical keyboards that I've ever tried. And there you have it, guys. Thank you for watching. Huge thanks to Ultimate Gadget Labs for sending this in. You can get this on their official website, link below. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you appreciate this video, and see you next time. Have a great day, guys. You're awesome.